And this week, we have something really special for our viewers. We are hiring a band and a camera crew. You all, and I mean you all, get to enjoy a truly terrifying tirade as our special commentator Jacque leads the titillating Canopan catgirl dancers in a musical number. You gotta check out that strapless sequined onesie. The light reflection really sets off his eyes.
Whoa. 1 minute here. Who thought this was a good idea? You guys putting my behind in a strapless sequin onesie? You want to talk war crimes, man? That is higher than Stefana Maris. My God, you guys. You want us to be canceled? You want us to be demonetized? Oy.
Calgary Battletech brings you Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Jacque. And on that horrifying note, hello everyone, and thank you for enjoying the 2021 season with us this year. We have now wrapped it up, and our last two matches being played to determine A-side overall winner and our B-side runner-up winner.
Yeah, that's right. It's all over except for the crying now.
Crying? There's no crying in Battletech unless there's two situations. You're Lee, or you actually placed your book based on my calls. In that case, y'all get what you deserved.
Really? People should have been betting on me, Jacque. You lost a lot of people money. And that really all depends on who you were betting on, how many sleep bills you laid down. I think I came out a little bit ahead, but I think I might have, I don't know. I stopped counting after 5 million.
That's because you placed bets opposed to what you called. I lost a little, I gained a little, but mostly I had a really good season.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys named Tony and Guido here looking for you, Lee. They got baseball bats, so I don't know what that's all about, but keep me out of it.
Oh, crap. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you a little bit later. Have a great show. Bye.
B-side finals match will be with us in just a second as we drag Lee back in. This was one of the games that would have been hard to call at the beginning of the season, even at mid-season potentially. I'm not sure we saw this coming.
No, Tony, I promise. I'll pay you next week. I promise. My wife has the cash. She'll pass it off to me, and I'll give it to you guys. You think he bought it?
Nope.
All right. Oh, anyway. So, we've got the Killer Bunnies playing off against the Carstairs Stables for the B-side title. One of the best games of the year. Hands down. You guys missed a great show.
This was an amazing match. I mean, you had a rookie player or a fairly rookie player to the league, a somewhat veteran player, and they just laid it all out on the field. This was how it is supposed to look and how it is supposed to go. Everything was on the field. It was just an amazing fight.
Let's take a moment to look back at the Killer Bunny season and how that played out. Game number 1, the Bunnies started off strong, facing off against the Dracona Spirits and claiming their very first win, 2-0.
Game 2, our Hoppin' Heroines face off against the Executive Outcomes, but fell to the tune of a 2-0 loss.
Walking into week 3, the Killer Bunnies were unleashed on the unsuspecting 55th Shadow Division to pull a 2-1 win. One of the few defeats that the Shadow Division suffered this season.
Actually, the only defeat the Shadow Division took.
Game number 4, our favorite furry friends ran into the Carstairs Stables. These two teams duck and dodge to a 2-1 finish for the Carstairs boys.
Moving on to week 5, the Bunnies bopped downtown to face off against the First Clovis Lancers. And unfortunately get lanced with a 2-0 loss again.
That takes us into Game 6, when the evil and bullying Merrick Marauder overlords bashed the Bunnies 4-1. For shame, you bad man, you.
Season match number 7, Clan Cobra Chickens. Clap a slap and put a win, scoring 2-0 against the Killer Bunnies. Bunnies losing 4 games in a row. It's hard to stay positive in this kind of a situation, but their stable manager, Laura, always shows up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
We bounce our way into the last game of the regular season. We see the Bunnies facing off against the Red Suns Irregulars. After some trying times, the Bunnies bounce a victory here and enter playoffs on the right foot. The Rabbits' foot. 3-0 turnaround win.
Right, Rabbits' foot. Oh, God, who writes this stuff? Finishing the regular season, 3 wins, 5 losses, and no ties. The 12th ranked overall face off against the Macross Stables, 1 win, 4 losses, and 3 ties, finishing 15th overall.
Wanting to show they deserve to be here, the Bunnies come out, and we see that Rabbit's foot thumping away in a 2-1 victory, moving into B Division semifinals.
And those semifinals see some family animosity. Mother versus son, rookie versus veteran, where the mother smacketh the boy down and makes sure that he still respects his elders. And she's off to the finals, folks.
On the flip side of this, let's look how the Carstairs Stable season played out. Game 1 of our out-of-town tourists pull a 1-0 win against the Macross Stables.
Week number 2, they run smack dab into the 55th Shadow Division for a 4-0 crushing defeat. It wasn't even nice. He didn't even say please, just ran straight up and gave it to him.
Yeah, in those kind of beatings, you really should buy the guys dinner, Stephen. Week 3, the Carstairs Stables and the Shite Hawks have a scheduling conflict for a 0-0 tie game. It's quite disappointing, but these things happen. Life does come before tech.
All right, we covered this. Bunnies cross the road and fail at Frogger, 2-1 win for the Carstairs.
Someone call the 5-0. We got a dead body here. Riston's Rogues do a murder 2-1 loss for the Beefy Boys in Week 5.
Week 6, we hear the sirens still screaming as the first Clovis Lancers lance a 4-1 win, and things are not looking good for the Carstairs Stables at this point. The playoffs start looking to be slipping out of their fingers.
Huber Sink, incoming devastation in Week 7. 4-2 victor over the Carstairs boys, 3 straight losses, and not all the sauces.
Week number 8, one final show before playoffs. We see the Crimson running crest the hill, looking to pull some revenge for the Bunnies' loss in Game 4. But the son cannot avenge the mother, and our out-of-towners turn things around to put another win in the W column, 2-1 victory.
This starts the playoff race for the Carstairs Stable 11th place finish. 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie, up against the 16th place Shite Hawks, 1 win, 5 losses, and 2 ties. And for the second time, these two teams were unable to match up as the ever-hated sickness dragged down the Shite Hawks, and the Carstairs were able to move forward to round 2 with a bye win.
Round 2 of the playoffs. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Off goes the head of the chickens. Carstairs Stable just had some barbecue, plucking the wings and dunking them. 3-1 victory, take him into the playoff match.
In the pink corner, we have the Killer Bunnies, weighing in at 270 tons, wearing a Shadowhawk, Grand Dragon, Dragonfire, and Zeus.
And in the blue corner, weighing in at a hefty 285 tons, sporting a Wolverine, Thunderbolt, Awesome, and Battlemaster, your Carstairs Stables! Oh man, this grudge match is 6 games in the making. Both teams have grown immensely in skill and understanding of the game over the season.
Killer Bunnies start off strong, like Rocky punching away, swinging for the stars. The hammer into the lads of Carstairs over and over and over again.
Shot after shot ring out, but more and more start to miss when they should be landing for the Bunnies finishing off mechs that just happen to keep on zombieing on.
The Carstairs Stables swings the momentum back in their favor as they just keep marching on. and managed to down the Bunnies Grand Dragon and Dragon Fire for a 2-0 B-side championship title. Congrats to Aaron for his win and claiming that B-side victory. Well done, Aaron.
A-side. We have an A-side to talk about now? Final match here being played out between the 55th Shadow Division Northern Invaders and longtime local boy hero defenders, Riston's Rogues.
Let's look at how the invasion from the north played out this year.
In the beginning of the season, as always, game number 1, we see the Crimson Ronin on their first game of Lance-on-Lance Battletech take a beating by the 55th as they take advantage over our youngest of league members for a 4-2 win.
Week 2, the 55th face off against another novice player new to the game and layeth the smackdown on Carstairs Stables, 4-0, laying down the law.
2 games in and 2 decisive victories. The Killer Bunnies pop up out of the burrow and avenge her young to give the 55th their first and only loss.
Halfway through the regular season, we hit game number 4, where the 55th take the first Clovis Lancers to the tune of a 4-2 victory. It's starting to look like they've got a trend going of eliminating every mech in their path.
Round 5, ding ding! We hear a roar from the crowd and watch the mighty Merrick Marauders fall victim 4-1.
In our 6th week, the roundup, the mighty 55th choked the chickens out to the tune of a 4-2.
Week 7 sees more of the same, just laying it down. The 55th hammered the homies from Saskatchewan. Bye-bye, Red Sons Irregulars, 4-0 sunset.
In what can only be termed unusual, the Viking boys see their homes invaded and raided as the 55th beats the Einheljar in a 2-0 victory, taking them into the playoffs.
And what a playoffs it was. Round 1 playoffs see the first place 55th Shadow Division, 7 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties, face off against the Ghost Legion, 9th place finish with 3 wins, 4 losses, as well as 0 ties. This bloody game sees the Ghost Legion start off strong with an early lead, but completely unable to finish things. The 55th turn the tide and pull out a 4-2 victory, catapulting them up into round 2.
Semifinals see the 55th versus the executive outcome, in what can only be a lottery luck level situation. Down early to a lucky gyro hit, the 55th seemed to be getting ready to travel home and cry in their towels. Then, turn the game around, 3 kills in 3 turns, to pull out a last-minute 4-3 victory, moving on to the finals.
Now we move over to the opposite side. Let's follow Riston Rogue's ascension. Game numero uno, our veteran pulls a tie game against the Einheljar, 1-1.
Week 2, not satisfied with a tie game, the Rogues and the Ghost Legion face off again against each other. 2 players who have both been involved in League and Battletech since the turn of the century. Rogues pull a beating here and walk away with a 3-2 win.
Week 3, Riston's Rogues stab the Macross Stables to the tune of a triple kill, 0 victory.
Moving around the corner, Week 4, Riston's rocks it out against the Shitehawks, having hawk wings for lunch. They seem to have a thing for eating bird. 1 step up from chicken wings, 2-0 victory.
Thing for eating bird. That was foul. Round 5, ding ding! Riston Rogues takes it to another new member, Carstairs Stables, falling down but learning lots in a 2-1 victory.
Round 6 sees Riston's face off against the Hubris Inc. At this point, Hubris has been just killing everything she comes against. 4 wins and a no-play tie. But boom, 3-2 Riston victory, halting the unstoppable force of Hubris Inc. for the first time.
Round 7, as the season starts to move into its twilight, the bells ring and the Riston Rogues sing, but they suffer the first defeat at the hands of the executive outcome. 3-2 score in this match.
Round 8, don't be late, Blitzkrieg Jezebels. Fighting for a top 8 date just can't close the date and leave without scoring. Riston's Rogues, 4-0 win, riding off into the playoff sunsets.
Round 1 playoffs, we see our third place Riston's Rogues, 6 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss, face off against the 7th place First Clovis Lancers, 4 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. Rogues slip in behind them and take the spine right out of them in a 4-1 victory, moving on to the semifinals.
Brutal victory. Semifinals. We see the Merrick Marauders coming off a 4-1 wife beating, looking for glory, but finding Riston instead, getting slapped down 4-2 and sent back home to Mama Bear Tomes.
And now, for our final event. We have in the green corner, hailing from Cochrane, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 275 tons, sporting the Wolverine. Again. A Kintaro, an Archer, and one of many Banshee 3S's, your local Riston's Rogues.
In the red corner, traveling down from just outside Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 285 tons, bringing a Kakata, Shootist, Victor, and big surprise, a Banshee 3S, the wannabe Word of Blake 55th Shadow Division.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This battle of the out of town was like a high school fight. A few good shots in, and then it was just kicking someone that was down. Someone forgot to bring their dice to the game, as luck just evaporated for the Riston Rogues, and it just exposed them to a beating. The 55th Shadow Division secured the championship with a 4-1 victory. We would like to congratulate Stephen and the 55th Shadow Division on their A-side championship victory. Way to go, man. You definitely earned it.
That's good.
And in a totally untitle related or placement note, Crimson Ronin and the Ghost Legion play an exhibition game and prove that beating the child at Battletech is a game not just a mother could love.
Oh, I'm reading the line going, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Oh, right. Smack talk between Jacque and Lee, our other hosts in the show. We ended up going head-to-head. Great match playing on concrete. Found out that, once again, neither of us can stay standing. Our PSR rules suck. But we did pull out the heck was it? 2-2 tie?
Yeah, 2-2. And all that I can say about that game is between the two stable masters, karma was balanced. John and Lee are infamous in the Calgary Battletech community for being the only two players to fail piloting skill checks in quads, with John killing himself on the fall. So with all the successful piloting skill checks they made this season, karma was balanced.
So what I'm hearing there is you both went down and neither could pull out a win.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'd say that. Wouldn't you, Jacque?
I just watch the games. I don't play them.
On our final podcast of the Heavy Metal Mayhem that is the Phoenix Reborn season, we have our two champions, the A-side champion, Stephen Barton, and our B-side champion, Aaron Beaton. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me, Lee.
Well, actually, Stephen, you've been here once before I believe you broke in there our season with the very first interview. It was great to have you then, and it's great to have you here now.
Yeah, it was the inaugural interview, and I guess I get to be one of the last interviews of the year as well.
And probably not the last interview you do with us, period. because, as everyone should be aware, Stephen is going to be the commissioner or whatever title he decides to give himself of the Edmonton Battletech League. So I think we'll be doing a little bit of cross-pollination with that as well.
Yeah, hopefully. I have enjoyed working with you and Brett and being in league, and I hope to continue to do so in the future.
Well, there's got to be a little bit of good-natured combativeness between the north and the south of Alberta. Aaron, we're not going to forget about you at all as the B-side champion. You beat out 8 other teams or 7 other teams to get into that position. What are your thoughts on the formats of the league? Anything you'd recommend or point out to the fans out there?
Well, this is my first time playing Battletech in any real capacity outside a starter box in the office years ago. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed the way we got to face a bunch of different opponents we normally wouldn't. And come time for the playoffs, it was kind of nice to get that, not quite a skill level split, but that's what we'll call it, and have people head-to-head against people of their own area and skill level and see who could work it out and find out who was the best.
Yeah, we've been doing the split between the A side and the B side division. As a matter of fact, even in one season, we'd gone all the way down to a C side. That way everybody made the playoffs, or a C division. It's really good because, yeah, you're playing against people who've had approximately the same experience you've had. So you're not playing against the guys that are like just super hardcore in B. You're playing against people who are there for the same reason you are.
I know it was nice. It felt balanced, and everyone felt like a challenge. I can't speak for everyone else, but I didn't particularly come across anyone battle that felt like a blowout. It was kind of a nail biter all the way down to the end.
Yeah, it actually, other than a couple of games that went really sideways for players, most games were really hard fought on both the top end of the spectrum and in the middle and bottom end. There was only a few people that really had rough seasons, but in the end, I think they learned a lot as well.
Coming in, and I know I wasn't the only fresh face this year, but really being able to see and how it worked and having a bunch of you guys for guidance really pushed how to play better, how to play faster, and just helped in general.
Did you learn anything this season? Any tips or tricks that stand out?
Well, most of my lessons came at the hands of some players who taught me very bitter mistakes. Steven's actually one of them. When your torso is open with an XL, you don't stand in water and wait to get knocked down.
That was a rough one.
That's a really rough way to end up losing a mech.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those lessons I didn't think about beforehand, where placement matters, and movement matters, and making everything work out really takes a plan and necessary thinking ahead. You can't just move a mech and then after it's moved, who am I going to shoot at? Who am I going to hit? What am I going to do? You have to walk into the whole thing with a plan.
Couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah, absolutely. As well as being able to change your plan if things go sideways partway through. That was one of the things that a lot of the new players were having problems with when things would start going sideways from the plan they had envisioned when they'd stepped onto the battlefield. A lot of them just froze. A lot of people just stood in light trees with their medium X going, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I'm just going to stand here.
I have a bit more experience with war games and other stuff in general, so I'm used to kind of getting my teeth kicked in and trying to make the best of it. But if you're not sure what you're doing, then the being hit by the unexpected, it really does throw a loop, and then you're not sure how to bounce back.
Yeah, and for you in particular, and I know we talked quite a bit throughout the season, and I know going into your matchup with Matt in about week 5 or 6 there, you had a really good plan. You didn't execute that plan, and that match didn't go your way. And then after that, you were much better on your feet and with your initial strategy and either sticking to it or if it wasn't working, adapting.
That one was Matt's a great guy, an excellent player, absolutely kicked my butt on the battlefield. But it really kind of opened the eyes to, this is what I need to do with this lance. I built it with one idea in mind, but it wasn't working out that way. So being able to shift that perspective and make it do what it's or can do, not what I expected it to do.
Yeah, the ability to adapt on the field and even outside the field. Like, I had a total setup of skill spends worked out. And then, like, week 2, I'm like, nope, threw it all out the window and started all over again with my skill spends. Some guys have that stuff figured out before the league even starts.
Yeah, all the power to those guys. For the first 3 weeks, every skill spend I picked was just, this is what I think will help me next week's game. Didn't really have a plan going forward for a few weeks after that.
Which was kind of strange because you seem to have a lot of confidence going into your matches. And even though the commentators seem to always be in your opponent's corner, did that inspire you to play a little more aggressively, or was it just a distraction?
I appreciate the commentators. I love the podcast in general. It's nice, fun community and the rest of it. But if you go into a fight with the expectation you're going to lose, then you're going to lose. You got to have the confidence in yourself, even if you're outgunned, outmatched, all the rest of it, to give it a good, proper try.
Yeah, Steven tries to downplay his level of confidence, but I'm pretty sure he knew he was going to win every time he walked in, regardless of what he said beforehand.
No, I didn't know because I hadn't played any of you before, but I have the advantage there of, I can honestly say I don't think anyone in Canada has played more classic Battletech over the last 5 years than I have. So there's that familiarity where you just get so used to the basic rules and the basic setups that, I mean, it's a huge advantage regardless of, how good your opponent is, right?
We are so going to put in all the extremely weird stuff that we pulled out of the league rules. We're going to put it back in for next season just to mess you up, Steven.
I mean, that individualized initiative, it affected both me and JP, who are, two of the better players. So, I mean, hey, you throw enough weird stuff in it, you might get both of us next year.
So, Aaron, back to you, since this is your portion of the interview. What faction would you like to play next season? Partially, just to give you a bit of information, we're moving forward in the timeline. We're going to be about 3067 mainstream production. So a lot of the more advanced tech is going to be in there. It's going to be broken into factions. So the Capellans are very much into stealth armor. So that's going to be one of their faction techs. Is there a faction you really like to play next season? And is there a reason why?
I mean, personally, for the Inner factions, I'm always a fan of the Free World League. I have kind of a lance in mind for next year that's just a different playstyle, and I think to run it properly with mech availability, I'm looking at either Steiner or Davian.
Lots of armor or lots of autocannons. Got you.
I have a pretty good idea what Aaron's going for, but I'm not gonna spoil the surprise.
Yeah, the guy who controls the telephone lines, of course, knows all.
Yes, all official league communications were tapped this season.
So now we're going to move our focus onto Stephen Barton, our A-side champion. Outsider, comes down from the northern Alberta to curb stomp the establishment that is the Calgary Battletech League. Now that you're the champ, were there any secrets to your success that you would pass on to the players, or are you going to keep that really tight to your vest?
No, I'm happy to share. I think the key to getting a lot out of league, whether you're looking at on-field success solely or just fun in general, is playing something that you're going to enjoy. Whether it's the most meta and the most powerful thing in the world is, I don't think super important. It's what you want to play and what you make with it. I mean, going into this season, I essentially picked a lance that was based largely on what mechs did I have that were unpainted that I could grab and throw together in a scheme, that I ended up building them around the meme of the AC-20s and the close range firepower. And, that's not normally what I'd say my style is, but that's what I could make work with what, was in the packet. And, unlike some of those guys you mentioned earlier that, they had spent 2 days and talked to their brother and planned everything in advance, I hadn't planned the skills or anything in the packet before I chose the mix or the faction. I picked the faction because I like the word of Blake and Comstars as close as we get in the era. So
I know you did a lot of recon. You talked to a lot of league members, either past or present. Was this experience in the league what you were expecting?
It was and it wasn't, but it was good both ways. I actually expected to struggle a little bit more than I ended up struggling. My goals going into the season were to finish 5-3 or better and finish in the top 4 on the A side to win at least one playoff game. If I achieved that, I was going to be happy going in. I had talked to the people I didn't know down here and had got a pretty honest assessment of some of the high end players. They told me not so much what their strengths and weaknesses were, but roughly where they figured I'd stack up against them. So I knew a couple of the guys were guys to watch out for, and luckily I got to play all of them, so it worked out pretty well.
And Aaron, what did you think of that? Was the experience in League what you were expecting?
Yeah. I was a brand new player, but so were a bunch of others. I expected roughly middle of the pack, and that's where I ended up when the season itself ended. Winning B-side was just a feather in the cap and not expected at all the way things have been going. I think I was on a 5-game losing streak there for a while.
You had a rough middle of the season.
Yeah, coming into the playoffs, you were definitely the dark horse, but you played well. Like, unfortunately, with so many new players and so many games going on, and just as admin trying to get back into the saddle of running all this, I didn't really have a good chance to closely monitor the new players. You were real surprised with how solid you played. And that 5-game losing streak happens to everybody. Like, we've got people that have been playing in League for over a decade, and their dice fail them. They have a little bit of problems adjusting to a little bit of hardship. It happens, and it was really good how you bounced back.
Thank you.
So, Stephen, back to you as the man of the hour. You were extremely aggressive in your style of play, and rightfully so with all the autocannon 20s you had in the Victor and the Shootist, and then backed up with the, of course, that Banshee. Banshees. Did you expect the rest of the league to follow suit with really heavy, aggressive play, or were the mech selections a bit of a surprise?
Well, again, to be honest, I had absolutely no idea how you guys would play. Of the 17 other players in League, I had only played with John before. And that was in one event about 5 years ago. It was actually him and I against another agent and another new player at the time, and we got absolutely bodied by the other guys. So
yeah, playing with John doesn't really teach you anything.
No, I mean he the other agent Bruce was running a Spectre, and John went off chasing it, and I was running a Pulverizer, and I got hammered by an Atlas K variant. Actually, just not that I remember, but that's more or less how it went. But
and I'm just giving John a hard time. He's a great player, and one of those players I was talking about. For 15 years, he's been part of League and a really solid player. Dice fail him almost regularly. PSRs are his nemesis.
Yeah,
he actually rolled well against me, but I saw it from him. But kind of back to your question there. No, I had no idea what the meta would be. From looking at the rules packet, I could see it was going to be heavier than I was normally used to playing. Kind of in my personal group up north, we tended to play more around 3-4 pilots for skirms and probably a little bit faster unit on average. So with the 4-5s and the heavier units, I knew it was going to be a style I wasn't used to. So I took a lance that I felt I would never just lose on lists. It wouldn't be a situation where I just lost the game. I'd always have a chance. It might not have been the best against everything, and seeing how much of a range focus there was in League, I definitely would have probably considered playing it differently, but it being so unique ended up working out in my favor, I think.
Yeah, it was really, really solid play. Like I got to play you in the regular season, and unfortunately didn't get to see you in the playoffs. But yeah, it was. You knew your mechs, you knew how to play them, and you did a great job of maneuvering on the battlefield to put your autocannon 20s where you wanted them. And that, I'm gonna swear, that goddamn cicada was, even though it didn't do a huge amount of damage to me, was enough of a distraction I couldn't focus on the opponents.
Yeah, that mech was a ton of fun this year. I mean, it went down once in League, and it was it got gyroed on a floater, really, really early, and that was the only reason it died. And other mechs did a lot more for other teams. That some of the Devastators in League were just frightening, but no mech killed more tonnage for its tonnage than that cicada got.
Aaron, I to be honest, I never even had a good chance to look at your lances, or your lance. What was your mech of claim to fame?
My awesome. One of the first upgrades I took in League was engineering that awesome. I worked with Brett a little bit because I had no clue what I was doing and no clue what I would do, and it worked out very well in my favor. Bringing up the 8Q to double its heat sinks allowed me to drop a few of them off. So it ended up with 18 heat sinks overall instead of the normal 30. The freed up tonnage let me fit another PPC, gave me jump jets, and the thing very quickly became just pillbox. It had the ability to get somewhere high, get somewhere defensible, and just rain fire all game long. to the max of its reaches, and the games where it died were few and far between, and it didn't gain many kills on its own, but when you're putting out 40 damage consistently a turn, it was just the real MVP for me.
Yeah, it was a good mech. The Awesomes were one of the other workhorses of the league. A lot of people were fielding them.
Yeah.
So, Steven, do you have any goals other than the obvious one of winning the league outright like you did this season? Do you have any goals for next season and any opponents you'd really like to face off against?
Yeah, it's obviously, I'm planning to be back next year. There's a couple of life circumstances that could throw that for a loop, but all things being equal, I fully intend to be back. I had a great time. I made a lot of friends in the league this year. I had a lot of great experiences. I don't think the chance of defending and going back to back is particularly high. You're more of a league historian than I am, Lee, but have you guys ever had a back-to-back year champion?
No, we've actually had, I think, one double champion, which is JP.
Yeah.
He's the only one who's ever won the trophy twice.
Yeah.
And that wasn't back-to-back. Stephen King, not the author, another guy who lives in Calgary, he ended up winning it in the interim, but it was JP almost did it. He got into the playoffs. He got into I think it was the semifinals, and ended up losing to a newbie, Miranda. She ended up taking it to him. He had some bad dice rolls on consciousness checks and lost 2 mechs early.
Yeah. And I think the second half of that question was if there's anyone else looking forward to playing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There's kind of 3 people, and I'll kind of go through them, and for various reasons. Of the A-side contenders, I actually ended up playing all of them except for 2 during the regular season and playoffs. The 2 I didn't get to play were Dave, who from all accounts sounds like a stellar guy and would be a ton of fun to play, and Mackenzie, who had to bow out due to other time constraints for playoffs, but everything I heard about her was that she's an excellent player and a ton of fun to play. So really would have liked to play her, if she's in league again next year. And then, the person I'm looking forward to playing the most is JP, because of all the matches I had this year, JP was by far the one that, I knew going in, and I knew every role of the game. It was super close, against Jeff in the final there. Jeff's a great player and Jeff had a great plan, but he flubbed 3 rolls in a row on his Banshee and the game was pretty much over, right? But JP absolutely pushed me to the limit, should have won that game. I just had amazing luck at the end to pull it out. And, I think we both want another shot at each other. So.
Yeah, that would be an epic fight. And I won't take any insult that you didn't mention me at all on that list that, I was a challenge, but that's okay.
I was talking about good players legally.
Yeah, that's keep feeding Aaron a little bit of confidence for when he and I play. He thinks he's got a chance, and I'm just going to slap him across the board.
I actually think that's going to be a pretty good game. I think your Lance is probably a little better, Lee, but some of Aaron's mechs, in that Awesome in particular, are great. He's improved a lot as a player. The guy I faced week 2,
completely talking out of my butt here.
Oh, I know.
I expect Aaron to take me right to the ropes with it.
Yeah.
The only thing I really have is my mechs. Like my Awesome has ERPPCs versus his PPCs. My Stalker has that Kleiny Erler's laser, and my Archer outranges his Awesome. That's really the only advantage I have on his Awesome, would be a little bit of range and a little bit more experience moving around the board.
Aaron's growth this year, Aaron, Matt, Alex, especially among the new guys. I played Alex week 1, and I played Aaron week 2, and I played Matt week 4. And all of those guys from the beginning of the year when I played them, and, had pretty easy victories against them for the most part, to the end of the year when they were, competing for the A side and the B side titles. Just the amount of growth you could see there was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aaron, you can jump in here. I like I said, I'm just blowing smoke and playing around. I think, honestly, Steven said it perfectly. Everybody's growth from the new players from the beginning of the season to the end of the season and into the playoffs was absolutely phenomenal. For how difficult Battletech League can be to learn, you guys took to it like fish to water.
Yeah, no, it was a blast. Again, when you knew you kind of maybe have a grasp on the rules, you maybe know what you're doing here and there, but actually being able to play it on the field and see it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, or this isn't going to work, or people have done that trick before, so people know the workaround for it, and you find that groove, I guess I want to say, and you're able to make the decisions, make the smarter decisions, and not make the same mistakes you did the first time around.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest thing is after every match, even a loss, as long as you've learned something, it was worthwhile doing. So, Aaron, I'm going to give you a chance to have any parting words to tell the league for this season. We're going to be seeing you again during the awards ceremony. There'll be lots of pictures taken and maybe a little bit of video. Anything you want to say to everybody?
See you all next year. Keep improving, and anyone who wants to get a game in, any chance I get, come down and play, I'd love to. Be nice just to keep everything in the groove, knock the rust off, and I don't know, get to know some of the league members a bit more than I do now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be having quite a few monthly games of Battletech going on, whether it be part of a league-sponsored event, or I know John, there's one of the Calgary agents, he'll be throwing some games out as well, so we'll be seeing some fun stuff coming up. And we plan on keeping, now that we're back into this, we're going to be seeing a lot more Battletech in Calgary.
It'll be a blast. I know me and my son have enjoyed coming out, rolling dice with everyone. Kind of keeping that up and growing the league will be great.
Yeah, it was great having you in league, Aaron. Now, Stephen, since you are the league champion, I'll give you the final parting words for this interview, as well as anything you want to say to the league in general, and do you have a special message for any particular opponents?
I mean, I had a ton of fun in league. I can't actually express how much I enjoyed the season. For me, it's about 2.5 hours down each way. I wanted to come down and play against people that I didn't get to play against every week and see, what the experience would be like down here. I've made so many friends in league. I've made at least 4 or 5 good friends that I still talk to every week, and league's done. And just the general experience was phenomenal. So I'm planning to be back next year. I'm planning to be a problem and someone that has to be dealt with at the top of the league again. And there's no one in particular that I think I need to call out. Everyone I had a great time playing everyone, but I'm just looking forward to next year, man. August, September, they can't come fast enough.
Yeah, it's going to feel really weird not having BT to go to every couple of weeks, but everybody will still stay in touch, and we're going to have some events so everybody knows. And there's going to be continued content in the podcast, so you guys are going to be able to keep track of us. Stephen, Aaron, thank you so much for joining me in this interview. It has been great having you here. Great having you as members of League, and looking forward to a few more seasons, at least a few more seasons with you guys around.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on, Lee.
That concludes our first season of the Phoenix Reborn Calgary Battletech League. Most players got 11 games in, 8 regular season, and 3 games, either a combination of all playoffs or playoffs and exhibition games.
We are so happy to call this a successful season. No major hiccups other than maybe a little bit of an early release for the league packet, but it all worked out. No drama. Everybody had a good time. 18 teams came out, enjoyed the game of Battletech, and played in an environment to help grow our community. It's everything I've ever wanted in League. I'm so proud of everyone. Way to go.
At this moment, we'd like to take this time to thank the venue, Ogre's Den Gaming, for providing a space and an environment where our community can grow and succeed going forward in this game and universe that we all love so much. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for putting up for our malfeasance. We look forward to playing at your venue next season.
To all of our fans of the game and the viewers from the podcast, our subscribers keep growing and we just can't thank you enough. Going into the off-season, things will change up somewhat, as we don't have bi-weekly games to report on, but we do intend on continuing to provide content. Some of the new content is going to include SPIP's Strategies and Tactics. Hosted by Brett, it'll be going over some of the basic rules of Battletech in general, as well as explaining some of the things like individual initiatives that we've used in League to try to help players, including new players to League, kind of have some idea of what it is that they can expect when they join. There's also going to be Lee's Rules Corner, where I am going to go over each and every one of the league's rules, including some that weren't in this season, to break them down for our non-league member viewers, as well as kind of explain how they were intended to be used. Jacque is going to go over his awards in a Jacque's rant, which may become an ongoing content. And finally, Rambletech. Once a week or once every 2 weeks, we're going to sit down, the three of us, as well as some guest speakers, to just go over anything interesting in tech. If you have any interests, you have any comments, you have anything you're interested in, post them in the comments and we'll try to get them into the show.
As always, our heartfelt appreciation to you, the fans, those of you that slap that like, slap that subscribe bell, hit the notifications. Thank you very much. We would not have been as successful as we have been this season without you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so very much. And as a final end of season reward, Jacque, your buddy, is awarding to the entire league.
Talk shit, get hit.
Everybody had the good-natured smack talk this season, which is a good thing to see, and everybody paid their dues, which is also a good thing to see. Thank you again. Have a great off season. We'll see you in the next season.
Looking forward to new things coming and a new season in the fall. As we get that hammered out, we'll let our community and fans know what to expect and what hopefully to look forward to.
Hey, Jacque, you can keep the onesie. We don't want it back. That thing's riding up in the back, and I don't want to even see that anymore. Go away.
Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.